Hey sweet friends, welcome back and welcome if you're new. I have been so patiently and anxiously waiting to share this crazy before and after office transformation with you guys. I have had so much fun designing and decorating this space. It was definitely a labor of love. Some things were easier than others. We learned along the way, but we got our hands dirty and I could not be happier with this transformation. So if you're excited to see everything in my dream office today, keep on watching. Now here is what the room looked like before we started any of the DIYs. You can see that there was nothing wrong with the space, but it didn't have a lot of character. The walls were literally a popcorn texture. I've seen that on ceilings before, but oh my word, all four walls were basically popcorn walls, and I was not a huge fan of that, and I really just wanted to add some character and brighten up the space, but I still wanted it to feel warm and cozy. So the first thing we did in starting this project was skim coating the walls. What you do is you scrape all of the popcorn texture off the walls, and then you use a trowel and you basically re-drywall the surface of the wall. It includes a lot of labor intensive sanding after the fact, and it is just a hot mess. I cannot tell you how much of a disaster this room was in the beginning, but it was well worth it to have clean, smooth walls. Now, as far as the paint color we chose, I went with Alabaster by Sherwin-Williams. It's a very creamy white. It leans a little warm, I would say, more so than a cool tone, and I really was going for that because I wanted some warmer tones here in the office because I wanted it to be nice and cozy. So one way I thought would be really cool to add character to this room and to get rid of the ugly drop ceiling was to add a cedar plank ceiling. Now these were just really thin wall planks. What I did, they came raw and they actually came double-sided. One side was a wall plank, the other side was beadboard, and they were tongue and groove. So I had Caleb brad nail them to all of the studs going vertically, but before he put them up, I did stain them in the color Special Walnut. It's just a really neutral, soft wood tone. Now once the ceiling was up, the next thing that we did was this accent wall behind me. I thought about doing a higher board and batten and just leaving the top half just alabaster. I thought about shiplapping the whole wall, and because I couldn't decide between the two, I thought, why not do both? So the bottom half is board and batten painted in the color Extra White by Sherwin-Williams, and then the top half is shiplapped, and Caleb just bought 8-foot tongue and groove shiplap boards. I did paint the shiplap alabaster just to kind of blend in with the walls and give more of a built-in look, and that also makes the board and batten really pop. So once all the DIY projects were in place and they were done, I could really start designing this space. The thing I chose was this white creamy light fixture. It's from Shades of Light. I'll link it down below if I can find it. And I think that it is so beautifully contrasted against that cedar plank ceiling. I love the way that it pops. And then another huge focal point of the room are the wood woven blinds. In the same way that the white light fixture pops against the cedar, the wood woven blinds pop against the white walls. And I think that everything just kind of marries together. It's very warm and cozy, but it's still nice and airy and bright, which is definitely my aesthetic, or at least the aesthetic I was going for. The rug that I found, it is from Boutique Rugs. I love all of the warm traditional colors together, and it's a nice contrast and a nice focal point here in a space that is very white and bright. Now, as far as the furniture goes, I got so incredibly lucky. I feel so blessed. I was in the market for a desk, but I also knew that I wanted a secretary desk. I thought that it would be a really cool way to display decor and old books, and then I thought it would be fun to have that secretary element for Emma if she ever wants to sit in here and color with me or hang out. Just to have another desk space I think is really neat. And so as soon as I started looking, I went onto Facebook Marketplace. That's always my go-to whenever I have a big project, and I was able to snag up both of them for $250, and they are solid wood. They are really, really good quality. I feel like I got such a gem of a steal when it came to the furniture in here, and the warm tones again look great. So I just wanted to show you really quick inside the secretary. I have this styled with mostly decor. As I find more old books, I will add more old books to this, but I didn't want to just like go out and buy a bunch of them at once. I like to collect them over time. But I do have some old books in here styled with these adorable metal bird bookends. They're actually from Amazon. Very inexpensive, and I thought they were really classic and timeless. Basket, I think I paid like $2 or $3 for this. I do have some linen book covers from Etsy with some potted plants there. I threw in some candlesticks here just for height. This is a really tall shelf, and I think that it all just kind of ties together. I'm sure I will play with this decor as the months and years go on, but for now I went with just a really classic all year round kind of look. The other thing I was most excited about was to have a wicker office chair. I think wicker is so pretty. It's a fun way to incorporate some texture into the room, and I just paired it with a cozy knit blanket and simple white linen pillow. And I do like to incorporate lots of neutrals just to keep the space feeling peaceful, and the chair definitely makes the room to me. I love it. Because this office is my personal space in the house, it is my happy place, I definitely wanted it to scream happy, and I wanted it to include lots of greenery and florals because florals make me happy. I've included a picture of florals there on the secretary desk. There's another floral bouquet here behind me on the fireplace we'll talk about in a second. I've got florals on the accent tables on my desk. It's a great way to add some texture in this room to make it feel lively and beautiful. I've included the feminine dried floral frames, which I think are so cute, and I have a gallery open frame accent wall here above the board and batten. Those were all just frames I found at different thrift shops, really inexpensive. I think that they were a fun way to decorate on the shiplap wall because that way the shiplap really shines through. In the center of the gallery frames, I do have a chalkboard sign with one of my favorite scriptures on it. It is such an encouragement to me when I'm here in my little workspace, just reminding me of my why. If anyone remembers back at the rental house, we had bought an antique mantle from the mid 1800s that we had painted white, and I brought that here in the office, and I am very, very excited about that. It really does make the space feel so cozy, and of course I love to have a mantle to decorate, especially for the season since we don't have a real fireplace here in the house. But this time around I opted to buy brick paneling. You can get it at Lowe's or Home Depot, and I just did a faux German schmear. I do have a tutorial over on Instagram, so make sure you go follow me over there. I will say I have loved making myself a tea or a latte in the late afternoons or evenings. Coming in here to edit or work and turning on that fireplace has been really, really fun. So on the top of the mantle, I wanted to keep things very simple, and I wanted it to have a little bit more of a vintage feel since the mantle is vintage. And I was walking through an antique shop a few weeks back, and I came across this brass mirror. Now when I found it, it was a very gold. It was a very brassy, but it was only $15, and I knew I could take it home and put a little love into it. All I did was brush on some rub and buff in like a bronze color, and it created the most beautiful antique finish, and I love the way that it turned out. And then I just complemented the mirror with a floral arrangement, some old books, and some candlesticks. On this side of the room, just a couple of last minute things. I added this black hook from Kirkland's and a little mini wreath, just because I felt like there was nothing over on this entire wall. And this just added a fun pop of greenery over here. And then I don't know if you guys remember this old Windsor chair. It was another like $20 find at an antique shop about a year ago. I thought would serve really well as just additional seating in here. And if Emma wants to work at the secretary desk, it's really nice to have just an extra chair in here. Once I had the room completely done, I loved it, but I quickly realized that the only lighting I had in here was overhead lighting from the chandelier, and I'm not a huge fan of that, especially at nighttime. So what I did was I added this round accent table. It is from Birch Lane, and I just styled it with this lamp from Kirkland's, a couple old books, and a little floral arrangement. And I just stuck it back here in the corner, and I feel like it really rounds out the space and just makes it feel complete. I honestly am so happy with how this space turned out. It is such a dream come true. So I just want to say thank you so much for supporting my channel, supporting this dream. And if you're not following me over on Instagram, please make sure you go do that. I update all the time over there on the latest projects. And if you happen to be new today, my name is Amy, and I am so glad that you stopped by. Here on my channel, I do lots of home decorating content and homemaking content, and I would love to have you subscribe. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I'll see you really soon in the next one. Bye.